Hi, everyone. Frank Mayfield here from your Augie Board of Directors with a very special guest for a very special interview today. I'm happy to say that our guest is the one and only Lynn Allen. Lynn, welcome and thanks for joining me.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
You're so welcome. So, what makes this interview so special? Well, obviously, just having Lynn here would do that. But there's another reason. You see, we're celebrating the 20th anniversary of our monthly magazine, Augie World, which first hit the press way back in September of 2002. Now, that very first issue featured our then president, Yoshi Honda, and then Lynn graced the cover of our next issue as she was the subject of a terrific interview. So, your Augie board thought would celebrate this big date in Augie history by inviting Lynn back and reprising that very first interview for our October 2022 issue. And that's going to be published exactly 20 years later. So, Lynn, do you remember doing that first interview? And if so, do you remember who did it?
Good question. So that was a long time ago. That was 20 years ago.
Indeed.
I do remember doing the interview. I can't for the life of me remember who interviewed me.
Oh, no.
Do you know, Frank, who did it?
No, I don't. You see, the magazine only says AW, Augie World as the questioner, and then LA for Lynn Allen is your responses, and nowhere in it does it say who actually did it.
Maybe someone will listen to this.
I'm hoping so.
Interview and come up with the answer, because now I'm dying to know. I'm curious. I did go back and read it, and I could not remember.
It was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a mystery. But I do know that back then I was very flattered to be invited to participate in that. And I was so excited when I saw I was on the cover girl of Augie World.
You look great.
Pretty exciting. And I'm excited I'm flattered as well today to be invited to participate 20 years later.
I know,
hard to believe. Isn't it
crazy,
hard to believe?
Isn't it? Back to who did it. We still have people in the organization that were there and still active now. And I asked what I would call our resident historian, and he can't remember either. He was like, well, it must have been one of 2 or 3 people. I was like, well, I don't, if Lynn says one of those words, that'll be great. But
it could have been John Clausen. Maybe it was John Clausen.
It could have been John. If you're listening, if it was you, let us know.
We'll have to ping him and ask
otherwise, it will just remain a mystery, I guess.
Whoever it was, I thought they did a really good job. Just like you're doing a great job, Frank.
Well, I'm trying. It's my wheelhouse is a little bit more mouse clicks and picks and drawing things, but we're giving it our best shot here today. So, moving on. So, I know most of our readers and viewers have known you over the years as being the face of AutoCAD, but your life and your career took a bit of a left turn a few years ago, and now you're no longer with Autodesk. So, will you tell our members what you've been up to since you left Autodesk?
Sure. It took like a big left turn.
It was a big left.
Right? Yeah. Big left turn.
It was a hard left.
There's a lot of people who used to joke and say I would be the one who turned out the lights at Autodesk, but you never know where life is going to take you, right? So I'm very excited to say that now I work for this fabulous company called Dassault Systems. I've never been happier. It's really been great. And I'm still a global technology evangelist. I'm still helping our users, our customers embrace the latest technology, embrace change, and helping them be more successful and get their jobs done faster. And, tips and tricks and all the stuff that I used to do at Autodesk, just, different company. And Dassault Systems is a huge company. It's like twice the size of Autodesk. And I report into one particular division that's primarily focused on SolidWorks. So the division I report into is called 3D Experience Works, but most people know the product called SolidWorks, which falls underneath that umbrella, which is a super popular product and super exciting product. So that's what I'm doing now. So kind of same role, a different company.
Well, you sound excited about it.
I am.
What's the best part about your new employer, Dassault?
Well, there's a lot of good things about my new employer.
Feel free to let them know.
There's a lot of great things about this company. But one of the things that I probably like the most is that they are all about their customers, about their users. They're super enthusiastic They love their user group. Reminds me, the SolidWorks user group, Swuggen, their organization, it kind of reminds me of Augie. And it reminds me of the early days of the AutoCAD user groups. They're just super, super passionate. And our organization supports them to the nth degree, just like the old days, and they just last week, I was at a live event here in Portland that was supported by SolidWorks, and the execs and the CEO go to the user groups all the time, and they just, or they invite them out to headquarters all the time. And this sounds like I'm just making this up, but they know that if the customers aren't happy and if they don't like the software, that they're not going to buy it. And they really put so much focus on keeping the customers happy and making sure that the software does what it's supposed to do to make them happy. They used to take the wish list, but Augie has his great wish list, right, that they do, and they would take it on the main stage at their equivalent of Autodesk University and read down that list. And then they would have the developers talk about it and has it been employed and we're going to put it in the product. They're like all about the customers. And that makes me super, super happy.
And so are you. So that sounds like a perfect fit
so you
for
can see we're like we jive. We absolutely jive on all of that.
That's terrific. So, a lot of our members, they may not be familiar with Dassault. You've mentioned a couple of their product names already. Can you share with us some of the other design software titles that come to us from Dassault?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. So the one that got them started and put them on the map was one called CATIA, which is a 3D solid modeling solution, really high end. And it's used by like the big aerospace companies, big car companies, like Boeing, for example. And it's like the Rolls Royce of CAD, where you could, in this, with Boeing, where they can design their airplanes and simulate the airplanes and do all of that. And, and Dassault Systems will customize it specifically for them to help them make sure they can get their jobs done. It's a very high end. And then SolidWorks, it's, it's for the smaller companies. It certainly isn't as expensive. And it's the most popular 3D solid modeling product out there. And we have a lot of really, really popular, like I said, really happy users out there that use the product. And then there is, we have simulation products and we have PLM products. And then we also have a 2D CAD product called Draftsight. That's very similar to AutoCAD, and it's very, very popular. Millions of people have downloaded and used that product. So same kind of, very similar trajectory as what you see in the land of Autodesk. Now, the products that I work with tend to fall more into the mechanical space, but they're used in all the different industries. You'll find them in AEC. You'll find them in, hospitality. You'll find them in healthcare. You'll find them in, all things, automobiles, trains, cars, and so on and so forth, engines, anywhere where you see something. You look around the room, anything that you see that's mechanical, more than likely our company's touched it in some way, shape, or form.
Cool. So one word popped out at me there, and that was Draftsight. And I bring that up because I know we're working alongside, the Draftsight is working alongside Augie in some ways. I know they've done some advertising and some articles. Yeah, and it seems to be turning into a really nice relationship for both of us. So that's really cool. And since you brought that up, can you tell us a bit more about Draftsight and how it does fit into today's CAD world?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Sure. So I think some people think that when I made the move over to Dassault Systems, that it was because I was going to be doing stuff with Draftsight, but that's not the case at all. I actually didn't even pick up Draftsight till I'd been there for, I don't know, over 6 months. And then the product manager said, "Hey, Lynn, would you check this out and tell me what you think?" And I had heard of it when I was at Autodesk, and because there were some Draftsight users that would come up to me when I was talking about AutoCAD. And there were a couple of commands actually in Draftsight that I had wished that we had in AutoCAD that I had to write like some Lisp routines to jerry rig it up a little bit. But so I started kind of fooling around and playing with Draftsight, and I went, man, this is really an awesome 2D CAD product. I think when you live in the AutoCAD world, you don't realize that there's other CAD products out there. How could there be? Because AutoCAD is so amazing, right?
Yeah.
And that's the world that I lived in. But Draftsight is very similar to AutoCAD. In fact, you can type in just about any AutoCAD command and Draftsight will recognize it. It maps it for you.
Okay.
And it has a very similar user interface, object snaps and the layered commands. In fact, I like their layered dialog box better in Draftsight, and all the function keys are the same, and just a very similar, very intuitive interface. And one of the great things about Draftsight is it is a fraction of the cost of AutoCAD, and it still supports network licenses. And that's been something that's been very frustrating to a lot of AutoCAD users, right? Is that they might have 50 people that need to access the software very casually just every once in a while. And now there's no network licenses. They don't want to buy 50 licenses because they only, maybe they want to buy a network license for 10 so that only 10 people in a given time could use it. So that's something you can do at Draftsight. In fact, at Draftsight, you can buy a perpetual license, and which, in case you don't know what that means, it means you can just buy it.
I know what it means.
I know you know what it means. You're right. I know, Frank, you know all that stuff.
I do.
But not everybody does.
I go back to
our
those
little software talk. Perpetual license.
What is a perpetual license?
But that just means you can buy it and then you never have to pay again if you don't want to.
It's the opposite of subscription.
Yeah, you just buy it once. I'm done. I don't want to pay subscription. I don't want to give you guys any more money. I just want to buy it. So Draftsight was really an eye opener for me. So then I kind of started doing some demos and webinars on it. And it's been really fun. We've had a lot of companies that have switched over, lots and lots of companies that have made the move over to Draftsight.
Well, it's the influence of Lynn Allen right there.
It's a good product. I didn't see that coming. And once again, that's not why I went over to SolidWorks at all. It just kind of fell that way. I have to always
it sounds like certainly
open-minded,
Yeah, it's something our readers might want to check out sometime.
I never would have guessed it because I love AutoCAD. I never would have guessed that would have ever happened.
That's a lot of left turns.
That's a lot. That's a huge left turn. That's a massive left turn. Never say never, I guess.
No. Sounds like you're kind of the face of Draftsight now too, then.
Yeah. I mean, I never planned to be the face of AutoCAD. But you were. Never. I mean, but it wasn't like my goal in life. I just started doing videos and writing a lot of, all those articles and books and stuff. And I just wanted to share tips and tricks and help people embrace the product. So I just fell on me, just happened.
Right. Yeah, and then followed your passion.
I think the same is true with Draftsight. Like that wasn't my goal, but I was asked to do one webinar and then I was asked to do another one. And so I just kind of fell into that as well, but I'm enthusiastic about it. So I don't mind.
Obviously.
I'm terrific. It's really fun.
Yeah.
I sound like I'm a salesperson right now, but it is really fun.
No, you really don't. It's again, we're working in conjunction with them here at Augie. So,
we appreciate that. I mean, that's one of the first things I thought of too was, I love Augie and how exciting it would be to reach out to you guys and say, hey, you guys should check this out.
And we have. They seem happy. We seem happy. So
good.
Everyone's happy. That's what we like, right? Happy.
That is definitely what we like.
So back to the face of AutoCAD one more time. You were the face of AutoCAD, but you're also, in our opinion, the face of Autodesk University. You often served as the MC, and you were certainly always a part of the experience of going there. So you teased it a little bit earlier. Tell us about Dassault's similar experience of an AU. Anything? What do you call it? I know you mentioned it earlier.
Sure, absolutely. So we have an equivalent as well. It is called 3D Experience World. Okay. And we have SolidWorks in there. Like I mentioned before, we have Delmia Works, and we have a variety of Simulia. We have a bunch of different Draftsight as well. That's part of that conference. And it is a very exciting user event. It moves around. Next year, it's going to be in Nashville. It's usually in February. And it is super exciting and fun event. Same context. We have lots of classes you can attend. We have general sessions, and it is lots and lots of fun. Now, I'm not the host or MC of that event like I was at Autodesk University. They have a paid professional who serves as the MC named Tracy. And you know what? They all love her, and she's been doing it for a long time. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. She's really, really good and lots of fun. I do a few things. I MC a couple of things during the event, but I am more than happy to sit back and watch her do her thing. I think she gets people really excited and revved up, and so it's a good, as long as it's a good experience. It definitely doesn't need to be Lynn.
Well, from the attendee point of view, you did the same thing. So
yeah, I tried.
Yeah, you did. You did a great job.
I tried. I loved hosting Autodesk University. It was, my favorite thing to do all year. It was just actually, I don't know if I liked being on the stage in front of all those people because it's very nerve-wracking and scary.
I would imagine.
But I loved just talking to all the users and spending time with them and helping them feel welcome. I have to say that was like my favorite thing to do all year. It was lovely.
So, given all those AUs in your past, do you have a single favorite AU memory that you could share with us?
Oh, so many. There's so many.
I can imagine.
I think on my way out, it was the last year that I was hosting or emceeing. I was escorted up on the stage by stormtroopers.
Right.
And while they played the Star Wars music, which I think they paid an arm and a leg for to get the approval, and that was pretty exciting. I have to admit that was fun. And then I would say my personal favorite, selfishly, I'm a big John Cleese fan, and I love Monty Python. I loved Monty Python on the Holy Grail. It was one of my favorite movies. And we were able to get him to be part of our party that one year. And I got to share the stage with him. I got to do a whole thing on spam and talk about Monty Python and the Holy Grail and do the coconuts and with him. And it was just so much fun. Personally, it was what a thrill for me to be able to share the stage with one of my idols. That was exciting.
That would be cool.
It was very exciting.
Cool. So if I recall, I was looking at this for some reason the other day. It was 2 years he was part of AU. I believe 03 and 13. Do you remember which one you're talking about?
Well, he was only on the main stage for just for 1 year. He might have been back for something else. I think it was. And he also did another event of ours called One Team Conference.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds really cool. Love it.